Welcome to Strip Cover Look, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And we're here for a book haul.
I
Dalton bought books.
I bought books.
Can't control himself.
I bought books. This is the tire repair book haul.
What?
Because I ran over a nail because my life sucks. So I had to go get a new tire.
Did you say life or wife?
Both. And I had to go get a new tire. And the bookstore is a block away. So I walked to the bookstore while I was waiting for my tire to get fixed. Okay. So thank you, sponsored by Discount Tire for all your discount tire needs.
Well, looking like you look and walking to the bookstore while you're getting your tire fixed, did they also charge you for blinker fluid?
They probably should have at this point. Like the guy came out and he's like checking my tires and I'm like describing what's going on. He's like, So I'm going to check the tread on all of these, not just this one, right? I'm like, that's fair. I'm going to leave now. Here's the key. So anyway, I walked to the bookstore, spent $5, got 5 books, figured why not? Let's talk about them a little bit. So, quick book haul here.
Quick book haul, small book haul.
First and foremost, Beloved, Toni Morrison.
Okay.
We actually were talking about maybe doing a Toni Morrison at one point in time, and I know I mentioned Beloved, but they only had one copy at the Barnes & Noble. But the winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature, this is supposed to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I've never read it.
Me either.
Any thoughts on it? Do we know what it's about?
Honestly, I don't know what it's about.
Okay. Seethe, proud and beautiful. She escaped from slavery but is haunted by its heritage. She must deal with this haunted life on every level, from the fires of the flesh to the heartbreaking challenges to the spirit. Set in rural Ohio several years after the Civil War, this profoundly affecting chronicle of slavery and its aftermath is Toni Morrison's greatest novel, a dazzling achievement, and the most spellbinding reading experience of the decade. I've heard great things about it. Yeah. That's weird. Just go into like almost lyrics there. I've honestly never read Toni Morrison that I know of.
I've read a little bit of Toni Morrison, I believe.
Okay.
I'm not an author with which I am terribly familiar.
Okay. I do think at any point in time, though, if you have a Nobel Prize winning author, Pulitzer Prize winning author, and
definitely worth picking up.
Yeah, for $1.
Sure.
I'll take
$1?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I spent $5. I got 5 books. This was $1.
Oh, yeah. Did you already share that information?
Yes.
Was I not listening to you?
Yes.
You mean no?
Whatever. Let's go with it.
Okay.
Anyway, Toni Morrison.
Toni Morrison.
So, good start here. Let's segue right into Leaves of Grass.
Starts with Romans 9:25. I don't know if I can read it now. They might not let me.
Can you quote Romans 9:25?
I cannot.
Leaves of Grass and Other Writings. Walt Whitman. This is Norton Critical.
Oh, okay.
I have been wanting a good old copy of Leaves of Grass for my own personal humor for years.
Dalton, I'm 95% positive that this is the 3rd time you've bought Leaves of Grass on the channel.
And these isn't even annotated. Somebody left me annotations. I can't read them.
Let me see.
Animals have contentment. Everything in nature supposes all that is man-made. See? I don't even have to take notes at this point. They took them all for me. This just says Jesus.
Jesus.
Whoever degrades another degrades me, and whatever is done or said returns at last at me. But anyway, Walt Whitman. Big name. For $1. I can never pass up a Norton Critical for $1 either. Because like at some point we're going to do some portion of Walt Whitman, and I'm going to have every bit of writing that I need on it. Just like all the notes, any kind of prompts, any good talking points, right here.
Yeah, Fields of Penises.
Fields of Penises.
That is your famous quote on, was it Leaves of Grass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Fields of Penises. It's absolutely phallic, and that's fine. But no, I've always talked about getting it. Like every time we go to the store, I'm like, Fields of Penises.
I'm 95% positive this is the 3rd time you've bought it on the channel.
That's a good chance.
You've probably got just a bin of Fields of Penises sitting in your home.
Bins of penises. Other poetry and prose, an album of Whitman portraits, which is completely unnecessary. But no, this is huge. It's pretty much I'd say a damn good text for Whitman's.
Got criticisms in there. Recent criticisms.
Recent criticisms. John Irwin's on there. Oscar Wilde. D.H. Lawrence. William Carlos Williams. An essay on Leaves of Grass. I'm going to read that for my own amusement. That's probably the most he's ever written. It's 9 pages long. But yeah, anyway, Norton Critical, Leaves of Grass. Can't go wrong with it.
This is on Bible-type paper. Look at that.
Well, absolutely.
This is a nice collection here.
For $1.
Yeah, you spent $2 and got 2 winners.
Let me go downhill a little bit.
Lots of notes on this page.
Hermann Hesse. Demian? Damien. I'm not sure. This is the author of Siddhartha.
Yeah.
That I've tried to convince you to read for a hot minute because I really, really like Siddhartha.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what this is about.
I had no idea that was a novel.
For a new generation, a new translation of the masterpiece, the famous novel by the author of Siddhartha. So they don't know what it's about. They just know, like, well, he wrote Siddhartha, so it's not bad. The story of Emile Sinclair's youth by Hermann Hesse. Shit, I wish I had more to say about this, but, like, there's no preface.
Yeah, there's nothing on it.
The Hesse revival has turned into a vogue, the vogue into a torrent. He has appealed to both young people and to adults, to an underground and to an establishment, to a comfortable middle class, and to disenchanting youth, sharing his contempt for industrial civilization. So the New York Times Book Review has no idea what this is about either.
You know what that sounds like?
What's that?
Every paper you wrote in college, they didn't read this.
No. But, you know, he tackled this, and he tackled this. And if he would have done this, this would have been great. I feel like I should...
from the 70s. Obviously printed in the 70s.
I feel like there has to be something in there that, like, I can read so I at least know what that's about. But no, it just dives right in, man.
I have no idea. 65, I guess.
I don't know.
When this edition was printed. Copyright in 1948, though.
I bought Siddhartha on a complete whim. I actually went to a coffee shop in St. Joseph. And, like, they had this huge chalkboard, and it said, you know, what's your favorite novel? I'm like, well, holy hell, look at this. This is nice. But somebody in giant letters wrote Siddhartha. And I know I've seen it. I know I've heard that name before, so I went out and picked it up.
Yeah.
Quick read. I mean, you can get it done in a day. It's like 100 pages. And it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love it. And then I grew my hair long and started sleeping outside a lot. So, like, it's fine.
This has got that 1960s book smell.
It's actually a true thing. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's like the bed bugs embedded in it.
Well, it's probably just the mold that you're inhaling, just seeping into your lungs.
It's got that good old book smell. Let me move right along. The Seagull Reader, essays.
Okay.
No idea what this is. Seagull Reader essays offer readers over 40 cherished classic and contemporary new essays, including several never-before anthologized in a student reader. It's like all Norton anthologies, the Seagull Reader essays is responsible and edited, provides helpful editing apparatus, blah, 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 blah. So, collection of essays. Haven't really looked through too much, but I figured for $1, why not have a collection of essays?
Well, why not is because it looks very new, and I don't trust it because of that.
Henry David Thoreau, Civil Disobedience, Alice Walker, Virginia Woolf, E.B. White.
So it's not
Holy
a collection
shit.
of new essays.
No, it's just a collection of essays.
It's just a new collection of essays.
George Orwell's in there. For some reason, Ronald Reagan's in there.
Robert F. Kennedy.
Jonathan Swift.
Sam Harris.
There's a Sam Harris in here? Oh, it's alphabetical. Sam Harris, The Myth of Moderation in Religion. Look at that. So just a off-the-wall collection of essays with an introduction, what are essays? So that's helpful.
You got Maya Angelou. You got Hillary Rodham Clinton. William F. Buckley. Wow, what an interesting collection of individuals.
I feel like whoever, like, I assume this is from Norton, because it's Norton. It keeps offering up that. I feel like there was just like a stack of essays that didn't make the Norton essays. They're like, what about that Seagull Reader idea that we had? Just throw them all in that.
Yeah, in fact, the Seagull Reader was probably just the working title, and it just never gave the effort to change it.
Well, if you ever get a chance to read an essay, though, they're usually in maybe 10, 15 pages. It's a critical something.
Yeah.
Whether it's tackling, I don't know, politics, and we're talking Reagan and Clinton in here, or tackling literature itself. But sometimes it's damn interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest reading only essays. In fact, so the essay is just for writers like Sam Harris, the beginning of a book, or an excerpt from a book. So an essay is a small thought that is not complete enough for a book. So books are the most thorough examination of an idea that humanity has come to, right? That's what a book is. That's why libraries are such powerful tools when used, because they are the most thorough examinations of a singular idea presentable.
Okay.
That's what a book is, right? I mean,
yeah, it's a fair statement.
Even to a large extent, fiction.
Yeah.
There is some truth at the core of fiction.
True.
And a work of fiction is a thorough examination of it. So that's where, like, this idea of the book is really, really misleading because it's not a book, it's an idea.
It's true.
It is an ethereal thing, not a physical thing.
And I feel like a terrible person for saying this, but like I'm sitting here and be like, and the fun part about essays, but it's true. It's basically like picking an author's brain. Author just takes a little bit of a subject and just kind of rolls with it for a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can be entertaining. I'm all about it. Always keep them around.
Thomas Jefferson's The Declaration of Independence is in here.
There you go. I hope it's not like student reviews on like this piece of essay, but I'm pretty sure it's just a collection of essays.
Stephen Jay Gould?
There you go.
Look at this.
It's not a bad little buy.
Dwight David Eisenhower.
Not a bad buy.
Frederick Douglass.
You know what else isn't a bad buy?
What's that?
Walden, Civil Disobedience, and Other Writings by Henry David Thoreau.
Okay.
Reason I bought this one, Norton Critical. For $1, it's worth it. Have you ever read Walden?
I have not.
I want to. And I tried once. I got into this fucking idea in my head. I was trying to write something, and I wanted it to be Walden.
What?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Like, you know the idea of Walden where like he basically just goes out and he lives in the woods on his own?
Sure.
Yeah, I wanted that. I wanted to capture that. So I'm like,
okay.
yeah, I'm like, all right, well, first and foremost, you got to sit down, you got to fucking read Walden, make sure it's right. And I got 20 pages into it, I'm like, this is fucking awful. I don't want to finish this.
Yeah, they're thick texts despite their brevity.
So, I don't know. It's the same person, actually, who annotated this. So, like, I definitely just bought somebody's personal library. Like, I hope their notes are good because, like, they actually went through and read this whole damn thing. So, good for them. Oh, nope, never mind. Quality just went down. That just says harsh, man. Oh, I'm going to be so happy one day when I end up buying my own annotations at the bookstore.
What this strikes me as is these are probably your books that you turned in last time to get other books.
It's true. It's true.
You're finding them for the first time again.
I don't know. These annotations go all the way through, so whoever did this at least had the chops to burn through a 700-page Norton Critical.
Probably a philosophy student.
It's either a philosophy student or it's one of the professors at the college who was like, I got to clean out the closet.
Yeah,
they
harsh,
got to get rid of
man.
some of these. Harsh, man. I hope it's Roberts. Anyway. I like the idea of Walden. I like the romantic notion of the man going out to the woods to live on his own and by his own hand. So picked it up for that purpose. Maybe it'll have a little bit of a gusto behind it with some of the essays. And I don't know, we'll see.
So here's something I would like you to talk about for a couple minutes. You bought 2 or 3 critical editions.
Yes.
Go into why.
Critical editions are gold.
Yes.
So, we come down to film. We try to decide what we're going to film this week. Let's say just shoot it out there, we're going to do Leaves of Grass. I'm going to go home, I've got a critical edition of Leaves of Grass, or I've got it in an anthology with essays. It is absolutely behooving of you to not only read the writing, but just dabble around in some of the essays, dabble around in some of the criticism on it, so you at least get your bearings on what people are talking about on that. And sometimes that'll bring forward other points. Sometimes you can even try to negate points that come from that. But no, it's absolutely a great tool to have, especially if you're a student or something, you're writing this. Trust me, no undergrad student reads the critical edition and reads the essays.
Right.
So if you're struggling with something and you need a better understanding of it, that's where it's at.
No, I think that critical editions are part of the downside to doing the show as we do the show.
Okay.
Because we're doing these things in such breakneck speed, I don't have time to look at critical editions. I don't have time to go back and see what people are saying about texts. I think it would be interesting. So we've got, for all of the books that we're doing now, we have a playlist for each book that is the 3-part read-along and the review. We are going to start expanding that if we have rants on the books, things like that. I think it would be cool at some point.
To hit the criticals?
To hit the criticals.
Okay.
To talk about what's being talked about with those and to add it to the text. So to add it to the playlist. So what we're doing with our books here on the channel now is, for example, we had As I Lay Dying, the As I Lay Dying suite, which was the 3-part read-along and the review. Mm-hmm. To get through these, if we end up doing 5 great quotes from As I Lay Dying, if we end up doing... I wanted it to be a series called Lit Crit, in which we discuss the ideas presented in critical editions or criticism in general towards a book. It's one of those things, man, that we just don't have the time to do. But absolutely, like you said, if you can get a critical edition, it expands the dialogue that you get to have on the text, even if you're not a content creator, via a blog or here on YouTube or some other published medium. It expands the conversation about the text between you and the author, and you and a critic.
Absolutely.
Much like watching this show does,
Yeah.
in that you're constantly sitting there thinking how wrong we are when we're talking about any given thing.
It's very fair.
Yeah.
And honestly, even if you don't, like you said, create content, if you don't even really watch BookTube, how the hell you stumbled on us is fine. But no, honestly, if you read something and you really enjoy it, especially if it's considered like a classic work of literature, there's essays on it. There's criticism on it.
It is important on an individual and individually intellectual level to delve into why you enjoyed that text.
True. And I mean, if you want to get on an even more meta level of like what we do, you got to know your craft, man. You can't sit up here and spout criticism and not read any criticism.
Yeah.
So if we ever want to do a lit crit series, I think that's an interesting idea. Fun fact, I've been collecting for a while now. Got plenty of them.
Well, we did a versus book haul a long time ago that came from a library haul, and you gave me criticism on Joyce Carol Oates and Stephen King. Mm-hmm. You managed to find those, and I've got them over here someplace. Mm-hmm. But I would like to dig through those eventually.
Never go wrong with criticism. But anyway, 5 books, a functional book haul. I think 5 things that are actually a decent quality for me buying in a bookstore. Usually I'm like in the travel section. I'm like, oh, the wines of France. I should read this. It's a graphic novel. That's fine.
This is a functional $5 haul.
It's a functional 5.
Functional
That's not
5.
bad. Not bad at all. So anyway, if you like this kind of thing, make sure you hit the like button down below and subscribe to Strip Cover Lit. We also do other things as well. Book reviews. We talked about that a little bit. I also do Variety Hour, and Adrian reads Harry Potter. All kinds of good stuff. Yeah. Make sure you hit that bell down below so you get the notifications from Strip Cover Lit to know when we post a new video, which should be pretty much every day at this point in time.
In 2019, we're aiming for it.
I hate you. Yeah. Because I hate you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know how I did with this $5 functional book haul. And as always, if you want to help us create more content like this on Strip Cover Lit, there's a link as always to our Patreon to be found in the description below.